Welcome back to Morning Live, and right now engaging into a very interesting conversation just about now education, and education not in Kenya but education abroad. And UNISERV is actually very instrumental in making this possible for many students who have the quest to actually go get information outside the country. And with me in studio, I'm joined by Habib Bahan, who is the Senior Program Counselor for UNISERV, who will be telling us through to actually what will be happening, and of course what they do to make sure you, as a young budding person who wants to go study abroad, you can actually reach them and of course get in touch, and we'll be guiding on how to do this. So karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Yes, good morning.
Morning to
Is it your time? Is it your normal time? Or maybe trying to acclimatize?
No, it's a bit early for me, but it's okay.
Okay. Welcome to this world.
Thank
now,
you.
Tell us more about UNICEF. Tell us more about UNICEF. What do you do?
Okay, so UNICEF is a company that has been in existence for about 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been around for 15 years, and basically what we do is we actually advise young people. So when you're in high school, you don't know what you want to study, you don't know what you want to do, that is where UNICEF actually comes in.
Okay.
So we come in and talk to students about, trending careers, what subjects to take for you to be able to do courses like engineering, medicine, talk about law, business, because a lot of students never really know what subjects you actually need to take for you to study these courses. So yes, of course, we go ahead and advise students, and starting from that point, we try and keep in touch with a lot of our students.
Okay.
So once we visit them in schools, we try to keep in touch with them, make sure they finish school, and then now when they're done with their high school, then we can talk about opportunities outside the country. So if they don't want to study in local universities here, we have over 300 universities that we work with in different destinations. So for example, the UK, US, Canada, Australia. So we would sit down with students and try to find them the perfect university which will actually fit their budget preference.
All right, interesting.
Yes.
Now someone is wondering, why do you concentrate more on international universities and not concentrating on the local universities? Are we not able to now raise our own? That's the first question someone is actually asking his or herself right now.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this now, taking these brains outside and also now facilitating the job outside?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think what you're actually asking is, why aren't we not promoting our local universities?
Absolutely.
And why did we choose to actually promote international universities? I think our local universities are well marketed.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying our local universities are actually very good universities.
Yes,
I myself studied here in Kenya.
Absolutely.
And I can attest to that. I think it's all about products and what you have to sell sometimes, because we also have to be open-minded and try to get things outside, because if you watch even the politicians and everyone, a lot of them go out of the country to actually try and get these degrees. And it's not something that just started recently, It's just that previously a lot of people would do these things on their own. So basically what UNICEF has done is it's come into play to just make it easier for students who want to access this sort of education outside. It's easy for you to apply, easy for you not to get conned, because as we know in this internet age, a lot of people can actually get conned. So and also just for the sake of exposure as well, education facilities outside there, and shorter degree periods as well. So that is what a lot of students now prefer. And when we're talking about just Kenyans, we're not just talking about the students who just go to our KCSE schools and all, because we also have to realize that there's a market out there of students who go to international schools. So these students who go to international schools are actually going there with the need to go study outside.
Okay,
yes.
interesting. Now the entry points, the entry requirements for someone to qualify for these universities, and just sometimes you guys look for the top notch cream de la cream of actually results, and you want the A's, A minus, and what's the criteria actually? What do you look for someone to qualify?
To be honest, Nick, I don't think that's the criteria that we're actually looking for. So it's a mix, because when I talk about 300 institutions, best be sure we have everything for all the students. So not necessarily like students who've really done well. Of course, we have very good universities that we can actually look at, like in terms of rankings and all that. But there are also universities that are middle ranked unis that would take KCSE students directly into the institutions for them to be able to actually study with them. So we're just not talking about students who have A. A's all the way.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can go all the
Nice.
way to like D's. They're available.
D's?
Yes,
Wow,
they're
wow,
available
nice.
programs. Same way that in Kenya we have the pre-university level
yeah,
that a
absolutely.
student can get into when they don't have the grades to go directly into universities. Same thing actually happens with universities in the UK. So we just call them pathway programs or foundation programs. Yeah, so a student would actually be taken onto that program to be able to go and study in uni.
So how many students do you facilitate maybe in a year?
So I would talk about maybe tens of thousands of students because we're looking at different destinations. So not just the UK,
Maybe
we're talking about Canada, Australia, US. So there's quite a number of students who actually go out to study.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. There's an aspect of lifestyle also. You know, when you send a student from Kenya to the UK, for example, accommodation, lifestyle, transport, all those things. You know, by the time they get kind of used to the environment, it takes a long time. How do you manage now to go through this? Because that's the most difficult part. School is actually it's an SOP.
Yeah.
That's done. But now there's lifestyle outside here.
Yeah, so that's actually very true, but that is why we're actually here. When I said we do everything for students, that actually includes getting them their accommodation. So we would sit down with the student once they've done the application to the uni and they already have an offer, look at the halls of residence available, explain, you know, catered accommodation, self-catered accommodation to the students, you know, all the pros and cons of having to live in the university or even outside the university. And we'll take them through everything basically, as well as the fact that international students are also allowed to work in different countries. So like in the UK, a student would be allowed to work 20 hours a week. And you would be looking to earn about maybe £7 to about £10 per hour, depending on the sort of job that you do. So we actually take these students through everything. We also make sure that we have other students in those universities who've previously gone through UNISERV that we're in touch with. So what we normally do is we would tell these students, would you like to meet a fellow Kenyan who's actually in this school, so they can actually advise you. You know, they can talk about what sort of hardships they went through. You know, their first time, you know, when I got to the UK, I was so shocked. So what did I do? So we have students who can take other students through everything that they went through and also help them in terms of, you know, advising that, you know, I picked this accommodation, so it didn't work out for me, so I prefer to take this, and this is what I do. This is where I go for shopping. You know, this is how I try and save and budget for my money. That sort of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, before we take a break, there's a question about cost. You know, some costs have to be involved. How do you manage now to tell someone, now this is what you'll pay, or maybe UNICEF will pay this? How does that go actually?
Okay. So first of all, I would like to clarify, at UNICEF, our services are free of charge. We do not charge students for all the services that we actually provide. Specifically because when I talk about the universities that we work with, they've appointed us as their representatives. So they actually train us on, you know, how to talk to these students, what courses they offer. So we do not take money from the students themselves, so they can come and use the services. It's all free of charge. And then coming back to your question, which is actually budget, we would sit down with the student, and the first thing we normally ask is, how much are you willing to spend on your education? So the parents would say, we're likely to put in this much, and then based on that, then we identify the cost that the student wants to go and the uni that they want to go to, and then we'll try fit the university within the student's budget. So we'll only take them to the uni that actually fits their budget preference.
Now, have you ever, maybe you can tell a success story of a student who went abroad, came back home, and he or she is doing really well? Maybe do you have samples of such students who not only secured jobs abroad, but also came back home and they're doing marvelously?
I was supposed to come in today with a student, but
Mr.
they
Nyanja,
he didn't show up. So that was my success story of today. So I took Oliver to university. He finished his undergraduate. He's currently back in the country working, and just because of that, he's now going back again to do his masters in the UK. So we do have quite a number of students, because we have alumni of UNICEF, or rather students who've actually gone through UNICEF, who will talk to other students and tell them, you know, my success story. This is how I did things differently while I was in the UK. This is actually what I did to enable me to get this sort of job, you know, and this is what I'm currently doing. So we try and link up our current students with, you know, students who've been through the whole system as well.
Someone needs some consultancy. Do you charge for consultancy?
Not at all. That's what I was saying. You can walk into the office anytime you come for whatever services you require. We do not charge you at all. It's free of charge.
So many parents Kenyans are wondering now, financial muscle, because now when you sit down with the parent and then tell him or her now, how much are you willing to spend with your daughter or your son who will be studying in Canada, UK, the US, and sometimes the financial muscle comes in play. Very, very important part. So how do you juggle all this financial muscle, this child's quest to go study abroad, and there's something very, very, there's a tug of war between the parent and maybe the son or the daughter. So how do you manage to convince these two people? Because the daughter, for example, wants to study this university. The parent is suggesting University X because it's kind of cheaper. How do you manage to do this now?
I mean, I think it's all about understanding, you know, your clients. I believe in that, and understanding exactly what you need. Because when we look at the institutions like we work with, specifically in the UK, we have over 100 universities, and you know they have all these courses that you can actually think of. So when you're talking, we have to sit down the student plus the parent and understand whatever they need, because we believe we can actually provide what they need. So the student's interest normally is usually the course that they want to study, and most of them usually have a preference in terms of the universities, because you know they look at it and they'll be like, you know, all my friends are going here, and so I want to go there. But then when it comes to the parents, their concern normally is usually the amount of money they're willing to spend for the student to go and study, and as well they have issues, you know, with like security, location of the units. So the parents normally see the bigger picture, but the students at that point normally don't see the bigger picture, because you're just thinking, I want to study law and I think this is the best university. So we would sit them down and try and compromise and see what we can actually come up with. It might not be the university that the student is really keen on, because you know you also have to factor in you know, tuition fees that they have to pay, and it's the parent who's actually doing all the heavy lifting here, and you also have to factor in the living expenses. So we'd really try and understand where the student is coming from. So if the course is really important, we'll look at, you know, what the modules the student was actually focusing on. Can we get the same modules in another university, you know, and then would the same university actually cost whatever amount the parents are willing to actually spend? So then we would try and identify all these things and now propose a university that will be good for both the daughter and the parents.
Wow, interesting. Now, scholarships. Now, do you offer scholarships? Of course, you facilitate all the students to go abroad, but do you at some point offer scholarships to these maybe bright, needy students?
We don't do scholarships. We do have scholarship opportunities available or information available. So what most institutions do is they would advertise and tell us what sort of scholarships they have. So mainly, most of them are usually partial scholarships. So if a student has an A, maybe they would say, I would give you about maybe £3,000 off your tuition fees, but you need to pay the rest, you know. So when you talk about scholarships in Kenya here, you know, they hear scholarships, they think, oh, we're getting like a full scholarship. So I like to make it clear, we don't, I would probably call them partial scholarships or what we call discounts, but they're available. So if anyone needs the, you know, like scholarship information, the best place to go would actually be on our website. So if they just Google UNISERV and go on the website, they would see what sort of, you know, available partial scholarships we have, and of exactly how much. So they would be able to know, you know, this is how much I'm expected to, you know, pay, and this is how much I'll be getting in terms of scholarships.
Something else, you're aware of fake universities, fake people who come online and tell you earn your masters in 16 weeks online. You know what I mean? You know, these pop-ups that come into your computer, and then when you follow those links, they'll give you a call and talk to you about maybe sending this money for your preparation. You know what I mean? How do people now come to this? Because do they think maybe Africans, to be specific, maybe Kenyans, are education hungry, that indeed studying abroad is a ticket for you to get a better job, a better pay back at home?
About the pop-ups, I wouldn't know, but I think a lot of people are thirsty for education. I believe, you know, Kenyans are very, very smart, you know, and we try get you know, like try find opportunities that we could actually go outside to study, specifically because yes, of course, there's, you know, education out there is better, and like I said, shorter duration of, you know, education period. Like normally a degree in Kenya would take you about 4 years for you to do it. When you're looking at the UK, we do have courses where you'd go and do a degree with within 3 years.
3
So
years,
that actually looks, you know, when presented to a student, someone goes like, I want to do it in a shorter time. So I think, yes, there are a lot of opportunities out there, and maybe there are people who are actually taking advantage of Kenyans who really don't know. But I would say when you see such pop-ups online, I wouldn't advise you to go ahead and make any payments. I mean, if you try call a number, you should be able to get
in Russia.
Exactly. you should be able to actually, you know, get the whole details. And I believe if you come to like UNISERV, we'd be able to assist you check out the universities that you're interested in. Whether we work with the university or not, we would be able to, you know, offer help in terms of saying this is actually, you know, okay for you to go through, or this is legit and this is not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not taking a short break now, but when you come back, Habiba will be telling us more about the current situation in Kenya, where the Ministry of Education will be scrapping some courses. And trust me, abroad, we still have the same courses. So will the students still go abroad and study the same courses where at home they've actually been scrapped? All that after a short break. Welcome back to Morning Live. In studio, I'm with Habiba Han, who she's telling us more about UNISERV. They're actually making dreams come true, giving students that the quest to actually go learn from outside the country. That is very, very instrumental for many people, because when they come back also, they'll be doing so well in the country, building the economy. But some, as I'm told, they remain out there, and of course they're offered jobs in those countries. Now, you also have trade fairs, is it?
Yes.
So what happens in these trade fairs?
So currently we have a fair that will be taking place starting from the 18th in different markets, because we have offices all over East Africa.
Okay.
So we have over 50 UK universities coming into the country to speak to students.
Okay.
So basically they're coming to recruit students who can actually go study with them. So they'll talk about, you know, what their university is actually good at, what facilities they're offering. You know, they'll talk about their courses and, you know, trending courses to what they'll offer to the students, or basically offer international students if they have any sort of partial scholarships that we were actually talking about. So this will be the universities, that's what the unis will actually be doing here, as well as giving students on-spot offers, you know, talking about life in the UK and different things. Yeah.
Now, just to hold short of this conversation, we have just breaking news coming in now. The flights from JKIA going outside Nairobi, from Wilson Airport, and all the airports in this country has actually stalled, because all the workers have actually down their tools, from air traffic controllers, from ground personnel, pilots, and of course the cabin crews have all down their tools due to what is called mismanagement by KCAA, and of course KAA also involved in these. And we'll be bringing you this story in our subsequent bulletins, because as it is, no flight is landing and leaving JKIA, no flight is landing and leaving Wilson Airport, the two major ones. So we'll be telling you more about this, and right now we're following up with the story. The reporters will be giving you these details in our subsequent bulletins. Now, back to this situation and of students traveling abroad. Visa. Do you process the visa for them? Do they pay, or how do they go about this all along, actually trying to move out of the country?
Yeah, so we basically do everything. I told you it's like hold my hand until I get to the other side sort of thing. Yeah, so we do actually help students with their visas. So we would give you the visa requirements, make sure we check your documents, your bank statements, and also do mock interviews for you, because some embassies would require the students to do an interview. So we actually help the students with each and everything, including even filling in the visa forms for them. And all this is free of charge, but the students have to actually pay whatever visa fee is required to the embassy directly.
Flight tickets?
Yes, we would help students look at those too as well. And aside from that, we also do like pre-departure briefing. So when we're done with like the visas, we make sure that we do the pre-departure, where we explain to the students what to actually expect as they study their journey, they start their journey into university. I mean, right from, you know, when you leave the country into that airport, you know, what is expected of you, and when you get on the other side, who will actually be waiting for you. So we organize even uni pickups for them once they get it, you know, to the other side. For example, if it's London Heathrow, who will be picking them up, and how will they be dressed and all those things. So we actually make sure that we actually guide the students all the way through till they get to uni, and when they enroll and settle down, then we'll just follow up and find out how they're doing.
Interesting. Have you ever had a situation where maybe someone gets lost in the airport or something?
Yeah, we do get a lot of those cases. Like, you just mentioned, funny enough, everyone is on strike now. So that if a student was traveling right now, they'll probably be stranded somewhere. So, it's our job to actually keep in touch with the students, find out exactly where they are, what sort of problems they're experiencing, even when they're at the airport. And we should be able to actually send someone from the university to try and get the student or sort out whatever mess they have, Some of them, carry stuff or get to the other side and they've lost a bag or something.
Absolutely.
So we normally try and get support from the other end to, to assist the students and try and make, everything just easy for them to settle in. In the UK, we do have an office in London. So the lady there is actually the one who actually takes care of most of our students. So once they leave Kenya, into the UK, she'll be the person who would be looking after them until they settle into university.
I was about to ask the follow-up now. If there's someone in the UK, do you have maybe someone in the other destinations also? Do you have people, representatives in the destinations?
Yeah, we do have different representatives. And then in countries where we're not based, we would have the uni actually acting as the representative, because we'd communicate directly to the university and say, so-and-so is on their way there, their flight arrives at this time, so they're expecting you guys to pick him up at this and this time, and this is where they'll be out waiting for you. So we normally communicate with the uni, and the uni definitely lets us know once the students are there.
Now, in case someone falls sick, I understand there's so many ways of insurance. Are the students insured by the universities, or is there any medical arrangement that someone can have actually?
Yeah, so some of our clients do have international insurance policies, and then normally on the students' tuition fees, there's a part where they're recommended to actually pay some sort of insurance towards the university, and that goes to cater for them when they're not feeling well. Yeah, so those opportunities are actually available, and we talk to our students about all those things, how to open a bank account when you get to the UK, how to register with the local police, what you basically need to do to get all your paperwork right, and where to go when you're not feeling well, where to go when you're actually looking for a job, that sort of thing.
Culture shock.
Yes.
It's something that takes a toll on so many people across the world. You've left Kenya, any other African country, Tanzania, you go to, for example, to the US. Maybe you're not used to the culture, the food, the environment, the cold, whatever reason. Have you ever experienced the situation where students want to come back home, where now life has been difficult? Hey, mom, dad, I can't hack. Yeah, we do. We get a lot of that, but like I said, when we're offering counseling, we make sure that a student actually understands the country that they're going to. Specifically because they all have all the 4 seasons. So we find that a lot of students are very happy when they go in summer. It's sunny, it's nice, it's like Kenya. Mom, I'm loving it here. Absolutely.
But then when it gets to like winter, they start getting depressed. They're like, oh my God, it's so cold. I can't even do it. Like I'm expected to walk to class. It's taking me about 5 minutes. It's very cold. I'm not feeling it. I need mom's hot food, that sort of thing. So we make sure that these students understand, first of all, what they're actually getting into. And also with the universities normally offer a lot of support, especially to like students who are coming from, tropical countries like ours. So, they would do a lot of cookouts with students. They offer also counseling as well. And, a lot of universities even call up parents if they feel that the student is now starting to feel down, to get the parents to actually talk to like their sons and daughters and just take them through everything. So basically they do experience culture shock, and it's there, but we try and also partner them with a lot of Kenyan students who are actually there, because when you have people from home, you always feel it's okay, like if they did it, I can actually do it. So we find a lot of students from Kenya who actually partner with these new students and would show them around, teach them, like tell them this is how I went through all this and this is how I actually overcame, know. Like we also help them understand that, you know, when you're going, when it's during winter, you need to have a lot of warm clothing on you. So they need to understand all these things, that sometimes you might not be able to go to class because it might be snowing heavily and, you know, school is actually closed. So what do you do during your free time in your accommodation? So there's certain activities that, you know, the uni is actually introduced to keep the students busy. And also they have counselors who they can actually walk in anytime just to talk to them if you're homesick, you know, I'm not feeling the food here, you know, I need a change in certain things, like I don't like my classes, I thought I loved this course, but you know, now that I'm here, I don't think this is for me. So we offer that sort of support to the students as well, just to help them.
Now, for someone watching right now and wants to keep in touch with you guys, maybe how will he or she maybe just go to the website, phone numbers, something like that? Because after this discussion, I'm very sure that people who've been having this quest to travel abroad, and I believe they'll really want to get in touch with you guys.
So they can go on our website. There's an online form that you could actually fill in to register with us. Alternatively, you can actually take my email address, so I'd happily provide that. That would be habiba@uniserveeducation.com. And then there's a telephone number as well, so they could use 0735 095 551.
Once again,
but all these numbers are also on the website, so it's 0735 095 551.
Okay, interesting. All right, that's all we had for you right here in Morning Live. So if you want to travel, if you want to go actually now extend your wings internationally, Habiba has been in studio taking us through about what UNICEF actually does. So it's a good opportunity for you to keep in touch with them, and trust me, you'll be given the much needed information. The education fairs they have, you mentioned something, the dates, maybe you can just repeat that.
So we start in Mombasa. We're going to be there on the 18th of March. It's going to be at City Blue Creek Hotel, and then we'll proceed to Nairobi, where we're going to be there on the 22nd and the 23rd. So it's going to be at the Sarit Center. So we'll start at 10 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m. It's free of charge. There's no entrance fee. So please come ask questions, come get information and see what we have to offer.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Habiba.
Thank you.
You've done well. Thank you so much.
Thank
of course,
you so
see you
much.
soon.
Yeah.
All right. Just before you leave, and of course, I'll just recap on what is happening at our major airports. Wilson Airport, there's no flight. Actually, no flights which are landing or departing. Same to JKIA. Those guys who are connecting the flights, imagine from Nigeria, from, for example, South Africa connecting to other countries, have all been stranded. Air traffic controllers, cabin crew, pilots, and all the ground staff have downed their tools in what is known as now allegedly mismanagement by the Kenya Airports Authority. Now flights haven't left since midnight. Actually, from midnight, flights haven't been leaving the airport, so that means things are actually doing badly at the JKIA and of course Wilson. But we'll keep you updated in our subsequent bulletins with Abdullah Ahmed at Switch 168 of the Huri. He'll be giving you more of those details. Now, up next, we'll be having Mr. Pamela Swainaina, CEO Corporate Staffing, and Ms. Pauline Kiraide. They'll be talking to us about productivity at workplace, specifically for the youths. All that after a short break. Hata mimi nataka kwenda kufanya masters.